Hello everyone and welcome to another great season of Inside IUE Sports. I'm your new host, Caleb Gillock, and I'm definitely excited and honored to have such a great opportunity. And speaking of new members to the Red Wolf Nation family, we have with us our new athletic director, Joe Griffin. Joe, how are you today?
I'm doing great. Great to be here.
Well, we're glad to have you here with us. Now, let's start out by getting to know you a little bit. Where are you from, and tell us a little bit about growing up.
Well, I originally grew up in northern Maine, played a lot of sports there. Went to school in Ohio, Cedarville, Ohio, and then I moved on to Atlanta, Georgia, where I was there for 23 years, a year in Dallas, Texas, and the last 7 years at a NEI school, Simpson University in Redding, California.
Now, you mentioned playing a lot of sports while you were growing up. What were some of the sports you played in high school and college?
In high school, played soccer and basketball, and really did a little bit of everything. Did men's volleyball, did track and field, baseball, small school, everybody does everything. I only played 1 year of college soccer, and then when I went on, basically I had to work and I didn't play anymore.
Where did you go to college at?
Cedarville University was where I got my 4-year degree, and also Georgia State University where I got my master's.
And what was it like going to both of those places?
Well, Cedarville was like IU Easton. It was at the time, smaller NEI school, a lot of different sports. Georgia State was, of course, huge, and I just attended there, and it's a commuter school in downtown Atlanta.
Now, you mentioned that you're the athletic director at Simpson University for 7 years in Redding, California. What was it like there?
Hot. The weather was extremely hot. Growing a program, we more than doubled our quality of our programs, the number of our student athletes. We were able to do pretty successful there. We upped our retention rate and upped our graduation rate, which is very, very important. GPA overall, school or athletic department GPA raised. I thought we had some pretty good success there.
Now, I know this past weekend at the volleyball game against Judson, Franklin and I were both talking about how we saw you at the game and that you're here all the way from California. Why the big move?
It was just time to get closer to family. We wanted to get most of our families in the Midwest or in the East Coast, and we'd like to get maybe in the same time zone as they would. And it just happened that IU East opened up in Richmond, and just kind of happened we happened to be right in the hometown where my wife's in-laws live.
There you go. Well, you mentioned rates and stuff went up while you were at Simpson. They had a 71% increase in student athletes at Simpson while you were there. What happened there?
Well, we just, it was a private institution, and they're tuition driven, even more so than the state universities, and we were able to put some programs in place to up the number of student athletes and the quality. We end up really doing pretty well in some of our sports, and that was just an emphasis the university gave us, and that's what we did, and we ran with it.
What were some of the most memorable things that happened while you were there?
We had our softball team go 2 times to the NEI National Tournament. And this last year even, they made it to the finals, the final site. That was really good. I had 2 men's golfers win the conference and go to the national tournament. That was pretty exciting. Just the overall quality of our program, I think, was elevated. I think I was the only full-time person there when I first started, and we ended up with 4 or 5 full-time staff people in athletics, and so the quality and everything and the commitment really was raised by the time we were there.
Explain like the emotions and what it meant to the school as, you know, the softball teams and the golfers were going to like the national tournaments.
Well, it's not only your school and your individuals that feel that, it's the whole community feels pride in that. So when you have one team go, it kind of elevates that city to a different status. They kind of take on that ownership of winning. And winning will take care of itself, but just the quality that we want to bring in just emphasizes everybody. Everybody feels a pride of being involved in some little small part.
Did the city of Redding, did they follow all the teams pretty well?
Some, the ones that won more, they followed more. The ones that were struggled a little bit, maybe they didn't. The main sports they did, baseball, softball, and the basketball teams. Volleyball is very big on the West Coast, so they would keep track of that. But the softball team, they really got behind. We would have some of our bigger crowds of anything would be come to at our softball games.
Now, is there anything that in particular you're looking forward to here at your time at Indiana University East?
Well, in the past, I've been able to build some programs, the quality all the way around, not just numbers, but just the quality, how we do it. I think this is a great base to keep that up. And I just feel like, we can develop even more of what we have. Some of the stuff has been really good, and I think we can do that even better and everything even a little bit better.
All right, well, when we come back from our break, we'll talk more with Joe Griffin about what his expectations are for Indiana University East. We'll be right back with more Inside IUE Sports.
This is where a busy mom can work toward a bachelor's degree from a top national university during softball practice. It's where a service member can continue his college studies from anywhere in the world, and where you'll benefit from one of the country's most effectively delivered online programs.
Woohoo!
So, if you've ever wondered if a college education is really worth it, this is where you'll see that it is. This is Indiana University East Online.
And welcome back to Inside IUE Sports. Joining me today is the new athletic director here at IU East, Joe Griffin. Before we went to break, we talked with Joe about how he thought that this is a good place to keep building a program to better levels. And what are some of your expectations for the athletes?
Well, our athletes, we want to make sure that they develop academically and everything else besides their sports. I mean, that's the main thing. But sports-wise, I want to be big in the conference. I want to, be in that 1, 2, or 3 spot in the conference as a whole. So we need to have everything elevated. And to get along where the men's basketball and volleyball has been, we want to get those in. Usually there's a little bit of a cycle. Sometimes you have down year or two, but we just don't want to keep those 2 down. But we want those to be successful. So I push the coaches to recruit hard, to work hard. It's just hard work, time consuming. And then to get the right athletes, the right fit, the ones that want to do better and get better and build those are the ones we want to be Red Wolves.
Now, is there a certain GPA or anything that the athletes have to maintain while they're playing?
Well, you have to have a 2.0 to be eligible, but that's the minimum. We don't want the minimum. We would like to have as high as they can in their potential. And a lot of times there's a learning curve for freshmen or sophomores to get in that they don't understand the time frame and time management skills that they're going to need. So we help them with that. But eventually, a 3.0 average is where we're at right now, and we'd like that up to maybe 3.1 or 3.2 if we could.
Definitely. Now, what do you expect to see out of the coaches? What do you expect them to do?
I expect them to work as hard as I want the athletes to work. I think anybody wants that. When you invest time into something, you want to see somebody else is investing that time. So they work hard at their craft, getting the right athletes in here, the right fits, and helping those kids mature in their abilities, as well as mostly their academic abilities. We want them to progress there and be successful, and then we just build them up that we can have success on the sports teams as well.
Now, what do you expect to see out of the IU East athletic program as a whole?
In what way?
How do you want to see it improve?
Well, we need facilities eventually, somewhere down the road. Next, 1, 3, 5, 10-year plan. We need facilities. We have a cross-country course. I've already talked to the cross-country coach about what we can do there to make that maybe the cross-country course in Richmond and the area where everybody would wants to come in and run our course. Some things there, not high dollars, but some things to spruce it up a little bit. Weight rooms, the new athletic, the student event center will be nice just for the student body as a whole. They'll give the place for the student body as a whole to get together and intramurals and all that type stuff, which will be really, really well deserved and needed on our campus. But we also need athletic facilities on the campus. It's great, the community has been great to let us use some of those that they have around, but it sure be nice to have our own.
Now, when's the groundbreaking on that actually supposed to happen? Is that out yet?
That I do not know. In fact, I've hardly seen any of the plans yet. They're still working on some of the basis of the plans. Working with the IU main campus, sometimes there's a delay in how quickly you can get things done, which is typical. And so we're in a wait and see at this point, and we'll build as soon as we can.
All right. Now, of course, there's lots of athletes in high school. They're looking at IU East from the local area, but also from outside the local area. What would you like to say to them?
We think IU East is a great place. I think this is so much potential here. We want you to come in and be part of that potential to, to bring us to the forefront of not only the area, but also the NEI. We want this to be a place that people think quality and professional and just success when they think of IU East.
All right, well, it definitely sounds like there's a lot of great expectations for the program, and you have really high hopes and goals for the IU East Athletic Department as well. Is there anything else that you'd like to say today?
We have a great quality bunch of student athletes and coaches, and I think we're just at the tip of the iceberg of what we can be. There's a lot of potential here. It's a great little city to build in and to bring students in, and I just think it's a great place for a student athlete to come and be successful.
All right, well, thanks for joining me today, Joe. We're definitely excited to have you here as part of the Red Wolf Nation family. When we come back from our break, we'll go over what happened with the volleyball team this past week. They had their home opener and also a long weekend on the road. We'll be right back with more Inside IUE Sports.
Dylan Newman had a terrible dislocated shoulder after a bad dirt bike accident. The long-term solution, surgery and intense rehab.
I trusted Reed Orthopedics because they had already fixed my ankle. And within 4 months of my surgery, Dr. Miller and my Reed therapist, April, helped me to regain my motion and most of my strength. Thanks to Reed Ortho, I can get back to what I love. It's all about trust. Right, Dr. Miller?
Right here at Reed.
Right here in Richmond.
Did you know your Xfinity service comes with features that are free, great, and easy? Like self-service. It's all the tools you need to manage your account and services whenever you want. Just go to Comcast.com, click My Account, and sign in. You can view your statements and pay bills. Even manage service appointments and check the status of your service on your phone. Plus, with easy-to-use search, you can find answers to your questions. Self-service. Another great feature included with your service. Visit us at Comcast.com/learn. You don't have to be at home to know everything's safe. With Xfinity Home, you can arm your security system if you forget. See that your kids got home safely. And make sure you never have to come home to a dark house. All from anywhere. Plus, get 24/7 professional monitoring so you know your home, family, and valuables are always safe and sound. Add Xfinity Home for only $29.95 a month. And if you already have a security system, we'll use your current equipment, so it's easy to switch and save money. Call 1-800-XFINITY today.
And welcome back to Inside IUE Sports. Now we'll take a look at the first week of the volleyball season for the IU East Red Wolves. The Red Wolves opened up things at home on Wednesday night against Judson University, where they fell to Judson 3-1. Let's take a look at the highlights. From there, the volleyball team traveled to Winona Lake, Indiana for the Grace College Classic, where they fell 3-1 to the Grace College Lancers. Later that night, IU East picked up their first win of the season in an exciting 3-2 match against Goshen. Let's take a look at the highlights from Goshen. Nice one there by the Red Wolves. Looked like Katrina Detweiler with the kill. 7-4 now. All right, tied up at 13. Be a big play here for either team, and it's going to stay on the Goshen side of the net. Red Wolves with the 1-point lead, 14-13. Here's the serve from Mallory Livingston. Steinbrenner over the top of the net and a point to the Red Wolves. Red Wolves will win the fifth set 15-13 and take their first win of the regular season. On day two, the Red Wolves opened up things with a 3-0 win over IU Kokomo. Then, however, later that day, after they evened their record out 2-2, they fell to Indiana Tech with a 3-0 loss. Red Wolves are now 2-3 on the season. Let's take a look at the highlights from the IU Kokomo match. There's another point for the Red Wolves.
a big reason IU East is up 5 right now, is they've held their own in situations like that.
Nice kill there for the Red Wolves. There's Livingston with the kill and a point to the Red Wolves. Red Wolves will take the 2-0 lead. Here's the serve, just over the top of the net. Barely kept alive by the Cougars. Right there's a nice kill by Mallory Livingston to win the match, 3-0. After the Grace College Classic was over on Saturday, I had a chance to speak with head coach Abby Niekamp, and this was our conversation.
I thought there are a lot of positives to take away from this weekend. Obviously, we ended on a not so high note, but we did some great things this weekend, and I think we're finding out who we are.
Let's think back to the 11 o'clock game this morning. Of course, a 3-0 win against IU Kokomo with scores of 25-20, 26-24, and 25-21. What do you think about playing IU Kokomo this morning?
You know, they brought so much energy to that game. It's always fun playing a conference rival. So I thought the energy was great. We finally put a complete match together, and I think we can take a lot away from it.
Then, of course, there an unfortunate 0-3 loss against the Indiana Institute of Technology. What do you think happened there?
Well, they brought some stellar offense and some big blocks that we just couldn't seem to get around. You know, we were challenged today and we didn't rise to the occasion. So it's always a tough loss, but they brought, I think Indiana Tech brought a lot on their side.
Of course, next weekend at Columbia University for another tournament. What can we expect to see in practice and next weekend?
A lot of hard work this week.
What are some of the teams that will be playing next weekend, and what do you expect to see out of them?
You know, we're playing some top 25 teams next weekend, so it's going to be a tough weekend for us. I think we're going to get a lot out.
Once again, the volleyball team now 2-3 on the season. We'll be right back with more Inside IUE Sports.
Providing a place for community conversation about events and topics that affect Wayne County. That's the idea behind In Focus.
It doesn't make a whole lot of sense that we've had a rollback of staff, of sworn officers on the street.
We're not the only community that's probably talking about these things. We're one of the few communities that's doing something about it.
In Focus invites your questions and calls for our guests. In Focus, Thursday evenings at 6 p.m. on WGTV, Channel 11.
Now joining me on Inside IUE Sports is IU East Assistant Athletic Director and Sports Information Director Kyle Wright. Kyle, I'm glad to have you with us this afternoon. How are you?
We're doing great. Excited to start another season of Red Wolves athletics.
Now, one thing you've been talking to me about a lot and has recently become very popular is the ALS Ice Bucket Challenge. What exactly is that?
Well, it's really, not only has it swept across the nation, but it's really swept across the IU East Athletic Department as well. It kind of started actually in June when our new women's basketball coaching staff was called out for an Ice Bucket Challenge. At that time, it was in support of breast cancer awareness. That was a thing that took off a couple months ago within the women's basketball community. So that kind of foreshadowed what was about to happen for the rest of the department. And then there was an event in Richmond in support of fighting ALS, and in advance of that, our External Affairs Department asked us to put together some athletes and coaches to take the Ice Bucket Challenge. So we had a whole bunch of coaches, some golfers, some basketball players. Even I got in there to do that one day. And then our tennis team, well, I take that back. That actually led to a couple of our men's basketball players completely on their own. Tyler Fangman and Brian Schlatter took the initiative to have the challenge done and made a donation to fight ALS. And in the midst of that, they called out our men's tennis team. So for the second day of practice, instead of practice, they got to get a couple buckets of ice water dumped on their heads. They actually challenged, as you'll see, a few other tennis teams, and they've all responded. So like I said, anyone that's on any kind of social media has surely seen this challenge and is not only taken off across the nation, but it's really taken off here at IU East as well.
All right, well, it definitely sounds exciting. As we go to break, let's take a look at the ice challenges.
All right, hi, we are the men's tennis team here at IU East. We are answering the challenge from Brian Schlatter and Tyler Fangman to do the ALS Ice Bucket Challenge. We are going to go ahead and nominate Earlham men's tennis team, Asbury men's tennis team, as well as the IU Southeast men's tennis team. And also, IU East is a proud sponsor of the 2014 Tony Hart Ride to Buck ALS at the Wayne County Fairgrounds this weekend.
Here we go. All right. Hold your breath.
All right, this is going to be fun. Tell me when, Kyle.
All right, 1, 2, 3, and dump it.
Ah! that's what I'm talking about. I almost dumped it on myself.
Hi there, IU East. I'm Coach Brett Crowley, head coach of the IU East Red Wolves track and cross country. I challenge Tyler Rigby, our assistant men's basketball coach, and Terry Moore, the new women's coach at Indiana University Bloomington, to do the ALS challenge.
At IU East, and we're taking the Ice Bucket Challenge to raise awareness for ALS. We challenge the men's IU East golf team to the Ice Bucket Challenge as well. You have 48 hours.
And IU East is a proud sponsor of this year's Tony Hart Ride to Buck ALS, August 23rd at the Wayne County Fairgrounds. Oh my word!
We are Houston Clark and Jason Ray for the men's basketball team at IU East, and we're taking the Ice Bucket Challenge to raise awareness for ALS. IU East is a proud sponsor of this year's Tony Hart Ride to Buck ALS, August 23rd at the Wayne County Fairgrounds. We challenge Mark Hester, the women's basketball or volleyball team, and the rest of the men's basketball team to the Ice Bucket Challenge. You have 24 hours. Buck LAS.
You're worried about me getting it. Basketball IU East, and we're taking the Ice Bucket Challenge to raise awareness for ALS. We challenge IU Kokomo women's basketball to the Ice Bucket Challenge. You have 24 hours.
It was unbelievably painful.
I'm Dr. Ganesh Ramachandran, the region's only hand specialist at Reed Orthopedic Center. Patients love how easy it is having everything under one roof and how easy it is to get here. Right here at Reed Orthopedic Center, right here in Richmond.
It's time for Red Wolf Fact or Fiction here on Inside IUE Sports. And joining me once again today is Athletic Director Joe Griffin. What will happen here is I have a question for Joe, and he will answer the question, but you, the viewer, have a chance to go online to facebook.com/IUE Red Wolves and say if he had the answer correct, and the first person that has the correct answer on Facebook will get an IU East t-shirt. The question today for Joe is, how many Wolfmobiles are there in the IU East Athletics bus fleet?
With the one we just purchased, there's 3.
You think there's 3?
There's 3.
Is that your final answer?
That's my final answer.
All right, Joe says that there is 3 Wolfmobiles in the IU East Athletics bus fleet. If you think that's the correct answer, make sure to go online to facebook.com/IUE Red Wolves and say that he had the correct answer. But if you, the viewer, thinks that the answer is wrong, make sure to put the correct answer on there, and you will have a chance to win an IU East t-shirt. The first person to get it right gets the t-shirt. We'll be right back with more Inside IUE Sports.
This is where a busy mom can work toward a bachelor's degree from a top national university during softball practice. It's where a service member can continue his college studies from anywhere in the world, and where you'll benefit from one of the country's most effectively delivered online programs.
Woohoo!
So, if you've ever wondered if a college education is really worth it, this is where you'll see that it is. This is Indiana University East Online.
Whitewater Community Television is Wayne County's public education and government access center. WCTV provides a chance for residents to view local government meetings, church services, sports, and cultural events. We need your help to fulfill our mission. If you'd like to learn to run a camera for a meeting or a sporting event, give us a call. It's fun, and you decide how much time to volunteer. WCTV, for the community, by the community.
That sound you just heard means that it's time for Wolf Center, where we look back at last week's IU East results and ahead to next week's schedule. You can download the Wolf Howl that you just heard by downloading the IU East Athletics app. It's for free on the Google Play and the Apple iTunes Store. On Wednesday, August 20th, the IU East volleyball team fell to Judson University 3-1. Bailey Gates led the way for the Red Wolves with 8 kills and 7 blocks. On Friday, August 22nd, the volleyball team fell to 0-2 on the season after a 3-1 loss to Grace College at the Grace College Classic. Katrina Detweiler made a great effort for IUE with 8 kills and 2 aces. Also on Friday, the volleyball team improved their record to 1-2 with an exciting 3-2 win over Goshen University. Morgan Steinbrenner had 13 kills and 5 blocks for the Red Wolves. Then on Saturday, August 23rd, the Red Wolves volleyball team evened their record at 2-2 with a 3-0 win over IU Kokomo. Madison Yoder had an outstanding effort with 27 digs and 2 aces. And to finish up the Grace College tournament for the Red Wolves, the volleyball team fell to Indiana Tech 3-0. Mallory Livingston had 16 kills and a .462 hitting average. And don't forget that the men's tennis team will host their season opener at Glenn Miller Park on Saturday, August 30th at 12 p.m. against Miami University. On Saturday, August 30th, the IU East volleyball team will take on Arizona Christian at noon. That'll be at the Columbia College Invite in Columbia, Missouri. And also, IU East volleyball team will take on Columbia at 4 p.m. at the Columbia College Invite as well. Columbia College is ranked number 9 in the NAIA national rankings. Thank you for joining us on this week's episode of Inside IUE Sports. I'm your host, Caleb Gillock. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you next time.